Listen up. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to the podcast participants, and not to any participant's employer, organization, committee, or other group or individual. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. You know, for fun. So lighten up and enjoy. Stomping Jen.
Sawtooth Frank.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How's your tea?
My tea is delicious. Why? Did you put something in it?
No, you were like vigorously nodding after taking
I was trying to get a sip in before the disclaimer stopped.
I saw that.
I'm excited. We have a really interesting guest on. We're talking to another clothing entrepreneur.
Ooh.
Yeah, Stephen Ruff, who is behind Springfield, Massachusetts, Hoop City Supply Company. And this is a clothing company that is making classic, comfortable styles that express a love and gratitude for the city of Springfield, Massachusetts.
There we go.
And you know...
That's a better sound effect.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, how I have grown to love that city.
Yep.
And we're going to talk a little bit to Stephen about that.
Cool.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I am too. Let me figure out which buttons to press here. I think it's this one. The Soft Serve Podcast. Creamy, delicious ideas without the creepy truck. Stomping Jen.
I'm not gonna sing.
No, okay, we won't sing.
All right, thank you.
We won't do that to our guest, Stephen. All right. Well, there he is. Hello, Stephen.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Really good. Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to talk with you about Hoop City Supply Company. We were talking a little bit before we started recording how we had interviewed recently another person in Springfield who's making clothes, Lenny Underwood. He's making socks, but you're doing something else with Hoop City Supply Company. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it kind of came from this interest that I've always had. I've always been into things like sneakers and streetwear and things of that nature. And just kind of was sitting at home during COVID and was like, all right, well, what can I create? What can I do? And I just kind of came up with this logo and I was like, man, that would look really cool on a hat. And, throughout my life, I've always sort of been like, well, I can't, you can't do this. You can't, you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to do that. And I was like, well, let's see if we can figure out how to do this. And lo and behold, I was able to kind of come up with a logo, print it, get it put on a hat and try to sell it, And so I'm doing hats and I've branched into t-shirts and hoodies and, the sky's the limit as far as I'm concerned, as far as what I can do with it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, is this something you had been thinking about before the pandemic, starting a clothing company? And had you encountered that voice before then telling you, no, you can't do this. You shouldn't do this.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of, there's my whole life I've sort of been interested in something like this, especially I'd say when I got to college, which is a while ago. I was doing some stuff in New York, working out there for a promotion company and a magazine, and a lot, there's a lot of crossover with the music and fashion and things like that. And I was always interested, but even then I left New York City just because I was like, I just can't compete with all these other people, and just, just self-doubt just creeps in. And I don't know. I think eventually I've started kind of just telling myself, lots of people less capable than you do great things all the time. Like you can do this too, and so just kind of that positive self-talk, I just need to practice that. And, here I am.
I don't know how anybody gets started in New York City. Like, it's such an intimidating, overwhelming place. Like, I've been there a bunch on business and to visit and stuff. And it's like you step off the bus or get out of the Uber or whatever, and you're just like, I get overwhelmed by like all of the energy, and like you could feel it, and it just feels so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I was raised in Springfield, so I'm from a city, but a small city. And, I'm super comfortable in Springfield, and like I feel comfortable everywhere. And, I felt like, like I'm the guy. I know how to do this stuff. I know about music. I know about clothes and fashion and style and all that. And I went to New York, and I was like, I know this more than most people in Springfield. I'll be good. But the problem is like in New York City, you get everybody from their hometown is that guy who knows everything about it. So you're just competing, it's like going to the NBA, like you might be the best in your town, but you're not necessarily going to cut it with the rest of them, And so I just, didn't feel like competing with everybody,
Yeah. And now walk us through that moment where you said, all right, get the hell out of here, doubting voice. I'm going to do this. Like, what steps did you take? How did you begin to move the vision forward?
So I'm sort of the type that needs a list, but never writes one, and I need visuals, but never use them. And so I was sitting at home one night and was just like, I don't know. I saw all these, I've been watching all these really, really cool small businesses pop up in Springfield over the last, I don't know, give it 5-6 years. Yeah. And I was like really, really appreciative of all these and inspired by all these companies that were in the city. But I was also really frustrated because I wanted to contribute and I wanted to create something. But my skill set, for the last 10 years has been teaching. And so, there's not much outside of teaching I really felt like I could contribute. And then I kind of sat back and I was like, well, what are the things that you're interested in? I like music, but I'm not a musician. I like style. I like clothes. I like sneakers. What can I do in that? And was sitting at home, and I'd always gotten frustrated with kind of this negative narrative in the city. And I'd always kind of wanted to do something to try to change that. And I just was sitting at home and I was like, all right, well, we're the home of basketball. We need to throw that in the world's faces a little bit, and just started doodling. And like I said before, usually I'm the guy who needs a list, but doesn't make one. Instead of just sitting with this idea in my head, I decided to put it on paper, and came up with it. And then from there, I went to, a logo design, digital logo design, and then started reaching out to different, manufacturers of hats and things like that, and just sort of started putting the pieces together. And as I kind of went, every time I took a step, it started to become more real and more feasible for me, and so it was really just about, following through and making sure, like, okay, if an idea came in my head, try and execute it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like getting over that activation energy, right? And getting the ball rolling.
Right.
That's really hard. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, it's a huge stumbling block for people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that you kind of just what you're describing to us, like you just sat down and started just doodling and like coming up with a vision. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, when they think about how did that person start a business, they might not think it was the first step. Might have been sitting down on a notepad and just like scribbling something. Mm-hmm. It can be that reductive. Do you know what I mean? Like you could start there. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like you don't have to start your business. You don't have to know who's going to be your manufacturer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't need to know all the steps. You just need to have the inspiration and the ability to start connecting yourself with the right people.
Yeah. So glad you're here to make sense of what I say, Jen. Yeah. So Stephen, as you started, you got one step behind you then another? Like, when did it start to feel kind of real to you? Like, oh, this is something I can really put out there in the world and be part of this community that I see around me.
So it was an idea that I had held on to for a while. I wasn't telling anybody about it for a while because it was just like, it was something that like I thought was just such a good idea, but I was so scared that somebody would just tell me it was whack. And so like, the first person I told was my wife. She was my fiance. Actually, no, she was my girlfriend at the time. She's my wife now. And she was like, do it, and I had never really had that person in my life who said, okay, you have this thing, you don't really know what you're doing, go for it, and that sort of took me aback. And I was like, wow, like she thinks I can do it. So then I reached out to some of my close friends. Like I have a group of neighborhood friends that I grew up with in Springfield, and just kind of shot the idea out to them. Like, guys, I have this, logo. I want to do an apparel company. What do you guys think? And they were all like, that is awesome. Like the logo is awesome. The idea is awesome. And then I went to school out on the West Coast. And my buddy who works for Nike, I talked to him and he gave me like some really honest feedback. He was like, you have really good ideas. But these are some of the things that you need to be looking at. Who are you trying to reach? What's your price point going to be? Just all sorts of things. And so that's when it's really started feeling real to me. And then when I placed the order and they came in, that's when I was like, oh shit, like you're doing this.
Yeah.
Like now you got to try to sell these things.
Yeah.
How important was it to you to have that friend who, the friends who support us like unconditionally are important, but that person who like was asking you the tough questions and challenging you to think about it from that other angle, that must have been really important for you.
It's like, it's really tough. It's really difficult to have those conversations, at least for me, because I can be, my ego can be shot down real quick, because I get so high on things, I get so excited, so revved up. And, it's important to have that person though, that, brings you down to earth and be like, all right, hold the phone. Like you need to get organized, and so it was really, really important for me to have that. Like, it was really, really important to have all the people who were telling me this is a great idea, this and that. But he has been one of my biggest soundboards as far as like, all right, if I really like want to know how, if an idea is good, he's the guy I run it by.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's important to have like people who support you, but then having that person who will help guide you and mentor you in the actual business component pieces of it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I might be a little like Steven. Like I hear somebody tells me my idea is not good or there's a problem with it, I storm out of the room. I'm like, what do you mean? This is the best idea that anybody has ever come up with. That's where I start from. I always work my way down, but I've gotten better over the years at it. But I know that feeling, Steven.
I've had to really become a little bit more resilient, as far as, my ability to take criticism, and I mean, and I'm sure you guys know, like, starting a podcast, you're bound to get some, negative feedback every now and then. You can get upset or you can, try to get better.
Yeah. And part of it too, like I love a negative review. Like, I don't know what it is.
Well, you love all of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of energy anyway.
Now I'm looking, I want to describe to people, Steven is wearing one of his hats and we've talked a little bit about the logo. Can you describe to me what the logo represents? And I want to tell, before you do that, I want to tell people, the links, to Steven's website, hoopcitysupplyco.com, are in the show notes, along with links to his Instagram and his Facebook page. So I want you to go there, just pause this for a second, go over to his website, and look at the logo, and before he tells us what it represents, because I'm curious. I think I know, but I want you to tell us. So, go ahead.
So you probably do know. So it's designed. It's supposed to be representing a basketball hoop, but it's supposed to be doing so in a way that's not in your face. And the reason behind that is I wanted something that people around here, if they saw it, they'd be like, oh yeah, I get that. But I also wanted something that wouldn't be exclusive to people who are from here. I wanted to sort of, for both just inclusivity and, just, for economic purposes, I wanted to be inclusive of people who didn't live in the greater Springfield area. And so I didn't want something that shouted, this is a Springfield brand, but I wanted it to be something that people from Springfield or people from around Springfield would be like, I see what you did there. I get it. And so it's a basketball hoop, but it doesn't necessarily look like a basketball hoop. You kind of got to take a double take at it,
Yeah, that's what I thought. I like it. It draws you in. The line work on it kind of pulls you in and really catches the eye. That's what I like about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a very geometric feel to it in a way, which I really like. So people go check that out. Now your other designs, like, do you develop them, by hand, like piece of paper and a pencil, or do you use computers? Like, how do you do your design work now? Do you work with somebody else? Like,
yeah. So essentially, I'm a composer and somebody else plays the piano.
Okay.
I know. What
So I'm not an artist at all. I came up with this, but that was kind of dumb luck. And, but I have ideas just racing around in my head all day. And I don't necessarily have the fine motor skills it takes to execute them. However, I have a really, really good friend who, I meet with, once a month or so, once every couple months. He lives in New York City, but he's from here and he comes home to work a lot. And he's a graphic designer and a DJ and, does all sorts of things. And, I sort of spew my ideas, give him like a really shitty sketch of what I'm thinking. And then he takes it and makes it beautiful. Mm-hmm. And so, we haven't thrown any new stuff on any pieces yet, but I'm looking to in the future.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I work that way with music.
What?
Well, we've had people do music for the podcast. I'm like, here's what I want, because I'm not a composer.
True.
I'm not a composer,
for sure.
And somehow they managed to do it. They're amazing. So what do you have for sale on the website? Like, what could people go there and find and purchase? What kind of clothing are you offering?
So right now I have all my kind of fall and winter stuff that I came out with last year. So I have, the classic dad hat on there. I have beanies on there. I have a hoodie on there. And then I have this kind of unstructured baseball cap with a nylon back strap. So think of like the strap to like a backpack, mm-hmm. Rather than like a snapback or, it has that style. So I just saw that and I was like, ooh, that's different. Let me give that one a shot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I like the beanie you have on, Stomping Jack.
Thank you.
That would be a good gift idea.
Oh yeah.
I love those beanies.
Oh yeah. Beanies. We got lots of those.
I love those caps. Although we're getting in, it's going to get warm soon. So
I wear them in the summer.
Yeah, you do.
It's true.
No, it's very 2022.
Yes.
People to wear beanies in the summer.
That's right. Beanies all the time.
As Stephen, as somebody who grew up in the city, which is the birthplace of basketball, did you grow up playing basketball? Do you like the sport?
I love the sport. I grew up playing. I'm not good by Springfield standards. I mean, Springfield has a reputation for producing really quality basketball players, and so I am not one of them by any means.
Yeah. What do you enjoy about the game?
I think Man, it's just, I don't know. It's a beautiful sport. It's something I grew up watching. I fell in love with basketball, I think, when I was watching the Knicks in the 90s. That's my team. My whole family's from the New York area. And so I grew up on, liking New York sports and such. And so I think watching the Knicks growing up, I really fell in love with basketball. And then, just, I don't know. I love the speed of the game, the athleticism, but also the grace of it, just all of it. And then just how it connects, suburbia with, the urban environment in a way that a lot of things can't,
I got roped. I've never played in my life, and I got roped into coaching for my son's team one year as like an assistant. I learned so much. Like, I had no idea there was so much like strategy and formations and like theory behind how the game is played. Like I know that's for every sport, but like how like it's not until
sport. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's like not until you get into something that you can really understand it. And I grew to appreciate it, basketball, like so much more, being exposed to it on that level. Like just the thought that goes into the game. Like it's like in my mind, I like football too, but it's a much smarter game than football in my mind.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. So there's a lot more strategy, and like Steven was saying, it's so much faster. Like,
it's very fast.
And you have to be able to think and strategize and keep all of those plans in your head, moving at that speed. It's not easy stomping, Jen.
No.
You're looking at me like...
Because you're funny.
Yeah, go ahead,
I tell you, every time I see somebody like hit a 3-pointer from 30 feet away, shooting into this small basket, like, and, you watch guys who can do that consistently. I'm just like, I'm always impressed by that. It's like watching a guy hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. It's like, how on earth do you do this with consistency?
Yeah. I think in baseball, I don't know. I think they just swing that bat.
You need to coach.
Close their eyes and swing.
I need to coach
You need
baseball?
to coach a baseball game, I think.
Yeah. I'm getting you in all sorts of new things.
Yes. You guys are geniuses.
Because he doesn't sport.
All right. So Steven, you've got the company off the ground, Hoop City Supply Company, and now you're part of this small business community in Springfield. So what does that mean to you now? Like thinking back to when this was just a dream for you or just an idea?
It means a lot. Honestly, because I've met just like, if for nothing else, I've met just really, really cool people, really good people. I mean, like Jen, I met you at the Monsoon event, That's and right. Just kind of in passing, like I would have never been on this show if I hadn't done something like this. I've met I've met entrepreneurs. I met politicians. I've met like people, I would have never met, and just by doing this now, all of a sudden I'm getting to have conversations with people. I'm now all of a sudden I see like an avenue where I can start to have a say in some things, in this city. I can have more of a voice. Yeah. I'm not just a citizen. I'm also a small business owner in the city, and so, I can make connections and try to, make things that I feel should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're investing in the city itself, like not only yourself, like by starting your business there, by keeping it there, by, doing events there, you're investing in the success of the city, Stomping
That's
Jen.
Right. Look at you.
I've learned so much from you from doing this podcast. See, I don't even need you to tell me this stuff anymore.
That's right. But I love when you get involved in something like that, because you like build like your little tribe, right? Like you have this community of people that you're thinking alike and you're building something together and changing their perception of the city together. And
100%. I was talking to my wife recently about, I'm sure you guys know, like, you go through ups and downs. You go through really highs and really lows. One day you feel like, oh man, this is excellent. And then the next day you're like, man, what am I doing? And
yeah,
every time I go over to Gasoline Alley, I run into people over there, and that's like, it's like a little incubator over there, and it kind of perks me right up because there's just so many creative minds over there, and so just kind of being part of that in my own little way has really been beneficial.
Yeah. How do you keep, to use the sports metaphor, like how do you, aside from connecting with other people, like how do you keep your eye on the ball, and like how do you tell yourself this is worth continuing to do? Like, because I'll tell you, like there are weeks when my downloads don't hit a certain level and I'm like, oh, it's over, I'm done, I'd never want to do another podcast again, because I didn't get to n number of downloads. And then I rally and I focus. I have to remind myself, like, okay, this isn't about the number of downloads, it's about you're doing something because you believe in this,
right?
And you just want to put something out there to the world for people to enjoy. So, like, what's your version of that? Like, how do you keep your eye on the ball?
I'd say honestly, it's very similar. I've like really tried to get into the practice of positive self-talk, and just sort of anytime like doubt creeps into my mind, and not just about this, sort of just about anything, I'll say, other people have done things like this. Like, why can't you? Like, just give it a shot. And I also have, I have the benefit of I have a full-time job. I'm not counting on Hoop City to feed my family.
Right.
And so if things aren't going well, like I care about it, I'm passionate about it, and I get upset when things aren't going well. I've had, I did an event, I don't know, a couple months ago. I didn't sell a thing, and I was just like, I was so upset. And but at the end of the day, I was just like, why did you start this in the first place? Like, did you start this because like you're just dying to get rich? And no, that wasn't what I was doing. My goal from the get-go was to try to change this narrative that's been just clouding the city of Springfield for as long as I can remember. And so as long as I can try to do that, I'm okay. And so I just remind myself why I got into this in the first place, and I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, I love that. And let's talk a little bit about that narrative. You were raised in Springfield, Massachusetts, and tell us about the city that you're so passionate about, hoping people might see in a different light.
Yeah, I mean, so the city. I grew up in a neighborhood. I grew up in Forest Park, and so it's a nicer neighborhood in the city for sure. And I had just a really good group of friends, but I went to public schools in the city. And so, right from the get-go, I was exposed, and I don't want to say exposed, but I was around just diversity in at all times. And I loved it from day one. I loved being around different cultures. I remember when I was in first grade, and this was right after something was going on in Vietnam, and we had a huge contingent of Vietnamese move to the city, and half my first grade class was Vietnamese, and so here I am going to Vietnamese birthday parties when I was, 7 years old. And, I probably wouldn't have had that experience if I had lived in, one of the surrounding towns. And then, as I got older, I continued to meet really interesting people of all different backgrounds, all different, socioeconomic statuses. And I just saw hustle. I saw, inventiveness. I saw just talent in the city.
Mm-hmm.
But I also watched people just badmouth it. And I'll admit, like, there was a time when I did the same. I mean, I was one of the first people, to be like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, I went to school on the West Coast, but
where did you go?
I went to University of Oregon.
Oh, okay. My brother lives in Oregon now. He just moved there.
It's a cool spot.
Yeah.
But I kind of reached a point where I was like, well, this place has all the same issues as my home, does, and so I sort of like got to a point where I was like, all right, well, stop looking for greener grass and water your grass. I came home and I was like, why do I keep searching for something that's already established? Why wouldn't I make the place that made me, gave me all these great relationships with people, and, allowed me to meet such fantastic people? Why wouldn't I try to improve that place, and believe in that place?
Damn, I love that.
I just got the chills.
I know. Watered the garden in my own backyard. I love it.
Yeah, that's good. And I have to confess, there was a time. So there was a time where I had just a horrible point of view about Springfield. Like I went to UMass Amherst as an undergrad. Then we moved out to Boston and stuff. And when we moved back to this area, like I would never go to Springfield. And then I did this local leadership program out here, Leadership Pioneer Valley, and I did a whole bunch of stuff in Springfield. Like my team met in Springfield and I ate in its restaurants, and from the Red Rose to Nadine's to just walking around downtown and like touring different neighborhoods. And I really developed an appreciation like for what a unrecognized gem Springfield is in our area. It has
beautiful architecture and the buildings.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I remember one of my first moments where I was like, come back home was I was home for a little bit, and I was trying to sign up for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that was when their office was on State Street. And so I took the bus downtown, and I had a while before I needed to meet with them. And so I just kind of walked around and was just like, for the first time in my life, walked around downtown and just like looking at everything and really just like kind of observing and being like, wow, like this, I keep talking about how other cities are beautiful, but like there's really beautiful architecture here. Like there's interested people here, and I would say that was like one of my first moments where I was just like, maybe you got to come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to come home, Stomping Jen. I love that. Right?
So funny tonight.
I know.
No, but I remember like there was so much cool stuff I knew about in the city.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, we should go like dinner down there. And you'd be like, no.
You didn't get shot when you went to dinner?
I know, right? Like, all right.
And I bought into those stereotypes about the city. I think I probably said that to Jen, like, I don't want to get shot, right?
Yeah. Like, you did.
I probably actually said that. I'm going to give this to myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're forgiven. Sawtooth,
but
you're forgiven.
Thank you, Stephen. But so, I mean, aside from that other stuff we're talking about, like the restaurants and, the beautiful architecture, and there's stuff to do down there.
Yeah, there sure is.
What else do you wish people knew about this city that you returned to and that you have such love for?
I just like, I want people to just know that like there are good, caring, hardworking, entrepreneurial people in this city. I think people look at this city as a bunch of, people who are lazy and violent and mentally ill. And there's so much potential in this city. There's so many good schools here that are producing really, really smart kids. And if you believe in this city, we can become whatever we want it to be.
Yeah. And I would say to people too, like, go down there, have dinner in a restaurant down there. Like,
go look at the art.
Look at the art.
I mean, and I say, like, you mentioned the art, like, I would say, the city has been really trying to put their best foot forward as far as, trying to bring things like art, and different types of businesses to the city. At least from my perspective, that's what it looks like,
Yeah.
And, it's things that you see other cities doing that seem like it doesn't matter, but it does. things like having murals and art, having lights, over the streets. There's such small things that seem so unimportant, but they make the city more inviting. Yeah. And, I invite people to come check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. I love Springfield. I love going down there.
We go down there quite a bit.
There's the bike path along the river.
Yep. Which what are your spots? What do you like to go to?
Yeah. Well, we like anytime there's like a cultural event down there, like those festivals, we love to go to the festivals, like down in that the square there. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
Court Square.
Yeah,
is that it? Yeah. I like to do that duplex bus ride around to look at the murals.
That's the
What?
And does the what do they call it? Not the powwow. That's what they call it in Worcester.
No, what is it called?
I forget.
I can't remember.
It's like where they go look at the murals and stuff.
Yeah.
My wife and my stepdaughter did that. Yeah, they enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I like to take the kids biking.
Yeah, we go on the bike
on the river walk, which is really beautiful.
Go on the bike path down there.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Yeah, they've done a lot of good work down there.
Yeah, and then I do work with Make It Springfield.
You have a lot of clients.
Oh,
down
do you?
there.
Yeah, and
that's a cool spot right there. I went to like a little art show over there before.
Yeah,
I think that's the one right on Worthington, right?
On Worthington.
Yeah, it's a cool little spot.
Yeah. I love to eat at Nosh, which is like
hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're amazing.
That's my stepdaughter's favorite place.
Yeah.
She's been in some of their reels and stuff before.
Oh really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There's Monsoon. Right? Roastery.
Yeah, it's not downtown, but it's
on the outskirts.
On the outskirts.
But we
close enough.
Yeah, we patronize that place quite a bit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Buy lots of coffee from them.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, Forest Park itself is a gem.
Yeah.
I take my dog there a good 4 or 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for people listening to this, those are all things you can go and explore.
Yeah.
And we all, the three of us, encourage you to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So get on down there.
Yeah.
You're safe. I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to just jump back to clothes real quick.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple other questions I had about that.
Yeah.
All right. This may be the dumbest question I asked tonight. Do you have a clothes philosophy? Like when you're thinking about, I'm going to put my logo on this sweatshirt or this hat, or like, do you think about it has to be a certain type of clothing or a certain style? Like, is there a philosophy that you have in mind? An aesthetic.
An aesthetic, not a philosophy.
Yeah. Or is it still developing?
That was a good question. No, I absolutely do. And part of it is because if I order, 30 something pieces of something and none of it sells, it better be something that I want to wear.
You're wearing it all.
So, yeah, exactly. So honestly, for me, I like, simple, even with my logo, it's simple, it's clean. That's sort of my aesthetic. And so that's pretty much what I'm going for. I'm trying to branch out a little bit and step out of my comfort zone with that. But essentially, I'm trying to sell my aesthetic to people, what I think looks good and what I like to wear. I think you should wear it too, and so
I'm getting one of those hats.
Man, I got you. I can help you out.
All right, this may be the dumbest question. I have to ask this because it's killing me. Has anyone ever told you look like Tom Brady?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So it's funny. I have gotten that.
And okay. Then, sorry.
Lately, I've been getting Joe Burrow.
I don't know who that is.
He's the quarterback
guy.
of the Bengals.
He's a sports guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't sport. Did I mention he doesn't sport?
I know Tom Brady. I was a Patriots fan.
Of course you know Tom Brady.
Okay.
So I definitely have the quarterback look, which I guess I'll take.
Okay.
He's married, folks.
I had to ask. Okay. So as you've started making your way into the clothing industry, you talked about some of the challenges. What's been a good thing? Like, what has been a good experience kind of getting involved in the clothing industry?
Just, getting the positive feedback, and not necessarily like, I like the way that the logo looks and all that. It's really exciting when I get positive feedback on that. but when I get to have conversations, and Jen, we actually had a conversation like this at the Monsoon event. When I get to have a conversation with people about kind of what I would like to see Springfield become, and I get that same reaction from other people, and they're like, yeah, you're right. Like, why aren't we throwing the fact that this is the birthplace of basketball in the world's face? We need to be, kind of clinging to that. And we need to, try to change this narrative. When I get to have those conversations, those are always the best.
Mm. Yeah. And I actually would love to go. I have, again, not a sports person. I haven't been to the Basketball Hall of Fame. I really want to go.
Yeah.
I like museums.
Would you know what I mean? Would you like to go?
It's a cool spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, go ahead. Sorry. Go. Nope.
I was going to say, I mean, a lot of people from Springfield haven't been to the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's like living in Washington, D.C. You're not going to go to the Lincoln Memorial. It's
right.
just,
right.
It's always there. So you can always go, and you just never do. You take it for granted, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to go. I want to go.
Do you have your merch there and in the museums or whatnot?
I feel like I need to get a bit more established before I can talk to them. But but who knows? Maybe that's the negative voice in my head. Maybe I need to positive talk myself a little bit and work up that courage.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to tag them in my posts.
There you go.
Oh yeah. I'm going to tag everything in Springfield I can tag.
Man,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a tagging monster when it comes to social media. Okay. Let's see. What did I want to say?
You mentioned you teach. Do you teach in the Springfield system?
So I don't. I taught in Chicopee for 10 years. And then weird set of circumstances. I teach in West Springfield now. Okay. I was sort of like I kind of backdoored my way into teaching. It was sort of like all right, I needed a job, got a job as like a paraprofessional, which if you're not sure what that, it's like a teacher's aide.
Yep.
And they were the ones that were hiring at the time. And then just sort of parlayed that into a teaching job. And, once you get in, you don't leave for the most part, you got to keep that seniority.
Yeah.
What do you like about teaching itself?
Working with the kids. They like good day, bad day, their energy. It just, it brings out the best in me, usually, sometimes the worst in me. But it's just, they brighten my day. It's always, cause I love to laugh in the classroom. I'm always just, busting balls with the kids and, cracking jokes on them, but allowing them to crack jokes on me. And, it just, I try to make it as fun as possible. When they're having fun, it makes my day better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Cause I think a lot of teachers might not allow that cracking of the jokes back. Right. Like I think that's teaching an important lesson.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. And are they surprised like when you are able to, I guess take as good as you give?
I think at first, they're probably a little bit surprised when, they say something back at me and I laugh.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many times have you been told in your life, if you can dish it, you better be able to take it, and, it's also big to teach them that like, not everything is bullying. Not every, barb shot at you is trying to hurt you. Sometimes it's just to build a relationship. And, I'm big on modeling those skills. And so, when I see them doing it back to me, I say, you know what, you guys are getting it a little bit.
Yeah. That's awesome. You also mentioned in your kind of your notes to us before coming on the show that you also work in the craft brewing industry.
I do.
So you're a multifaceted and multi-talented human, Stephen. So
no, I'm just a teacher who needs a lot of jobs.
Tell us about that. I mean, do you? I'm sure there's lots of other places you could pick up additional income, right? Is there a reason you picked like one of the larger, more famous, I don't want to say their name unless you want to, larger, more famous craft brewers in the area?
So prior to working for them, I worked at a psych unit in Holyoke, at Providence Hospital. And, I would work, in a severe emotional classroom, and then I would work, from 7 to 2:30 in a severe emotional classroom, have a half hour to get to my other job, and work from 3:30 to 11:30 on a adult psych unit. And so my days consisted of nothing but dealing with human beings at their lowest points for the most part.
That sounds really intense.
It fucking was.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
And so, I mean, I would have those days, and I would just come home and I'd just be like drained. And I would honestly, like, I would walk around the streets and like diagnose people in my head, and and just like, and just like think like anytime somebody was trying to talk to me, like they were trying to manipulate me, or, and so I was always guarded, and so I just like, I don't know. I last year I decided, I saw that that Treehouse was hiring, and was just like, I'm just gonna go apply for them, and see how that goes. Had an interview and got the job, and I was just kind of looking for a side job that wasn't going to stress me out to the point that my other jobs were, and it's turned out to be an awesome experience.
Yeah.
It's been so fun.
Yeah. We're not drinkers anymore, but when we used to, I mean, Treehouse was like our go-to beer, and that place is amazing. Like what
the one in Sturbridge?
Well, yeah, the one in Sturbridge. We haven't been to the one.
Are you at the one in Deerfield?
I'm in Deerfield. Oh, it's crazy.
That place looks amazing. What they did.
Yeah, like what I want to say, and it's interesting, so they very much are, they have like this, they invest so much in this beautiful imagery and the experience of going.
They've created a destination.
Yeah, of going to Treehouse. Right. They focus on the art of their cans.
Yes.
The buildings are gorgeous and unique, and the grounds, like you very much feel like you're being taken care of when you go there. Like the process of getting the beer is fun and interesting. Like this is what I'm remembering from when we were doing it. Like
I think we did it once, Stephen.
Yeah. No, I went a couple times.
You did?
Yeah, like 3 times. Yeah. I have to tell a story here, Stomping Jen.
Oh, okay. All right.
Share it.
Well, this is part of it. Like and it's just interesting to me.
What's the story?
Well, Steven focuses through Hoop City. I'm sorry,
Supply Company.
Yeah, you confused me, Stomping Jen. Hoop City Supply Company. Steven focuses on appearance, like putting out beautiful clothing.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like there's a connection there.
Wait, what was the story?
That was this. This is the story.
Oh, you're building a story.
I was building a story.
Did you get that?
Yeah, and you threw me for.
I'm picking up what he's throwing out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There's I don't think it's an accident you ended up there because
at Treehouse.
Yeah, because it's a place that focuses on aesthetics, on experience, and it somehow in my mind connects to what you're doing.
I mean, you're not wrong. Those were some of the things that, like, when I was first looking at applying there, I was thinking, all right, these are people who are, driven, they're detail oriented, they find the aesthetics important. I can learn a lot from these people. And I'm learning new things every day. It's, I'm definitely grateful to have that job, because it's honestly, it's a fun job to have.
Yeah.
Are you brewing with them, or are you?
I'm not a brewer. I'm I sort of a jack of all trades. I tend bar, I build orders, I sweep floors, I clean up after people's pizza.
All sorts of stuff. That's cool.
Do it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a bartender.
You're so random.
Yeah.
You can still be a bartender.
Could I?
Yeah, for sure. All I have to do is attend bartending school.
Yeah, you can make that work.
Yeah.
Get your tips trained.
My sister did that.
Uh-huh.
She was a bartender for a while.
Yeah. They make good tips.
Yeah, no. It would be more for me like connecting with the people.
Yeah.
Like talking to people and meeting people because I like to do that.
That was another draw for me was I just wanted to connect with typical people again, just to kind of go back to the hospital job. I thought that this would be a really good opportunity to see people who were just average people, not at their lowest point.
Yeah.
For the most part. And sort of kind of restore my faith in humans a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Treehouse is a fun place. Like it's a destination. Like people are coming there from all over the country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy that I interviewed at the company that used to own that building. So every time I think about what they bought.
Yeah.
That's an old style, like 70s building, right?
Yeah. It's an old building.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, it's like a pyramid and it had
an atrium and like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to check it out.
There's not enough atriums anymore. Right?
I like a good atrium.
I do like atriums. All right.
So random.
So,
sorry,
Stephen, is there anything else you wanted to focus on? We're gonna kind of go into our last couple of questions that are not exactly related to Hoop City Supply Company, but I wanted to give you a chance. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we start getting into it?
I think we, just kind of reiterate, I want to see this city kind of gets where it can, reach its potential. I see, 45 miles east of us, you have a city of Worcester who was in pretty similar shoes to us, I should say. And they're doing pretty well now. They have lots of small businesses popping up and things like that. And I would love for people to start believing in this city.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just in Lowell last weekend. Another one of those like big old Massachusetts cities. And I feel like it right now, it is like somewhere between where Springfield is now and like where Worcester is now. Like it's a little bit further along than Springfield, but I just like the potential of these cities. And I was walking around Lowell like for a whole day, like checking out different things. And, people, just going back to what Stephen was saying, people, they've just got to come home, invest in these places.
Well, I got to say, there's like so much new stuff in Springfield that I have on my to check out list. Like Dewey's Lounge is like a new place that just opened.
That place is so cool.
Right?
Man, they kill it over there. I haven't been since they updated their menu and I haven't been over there since, but like they opened up, there's a new Mexican spot that I went to apparently before they even like really opened. I just walked in there one time. They gave me food and it was incredible.
Yeah.
You have, Bar Kaya down there. Like, you have White Lion down. Like, there's just so many things popping up. There's a new restaurant popping up on Worthington right now as we speak, actually.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to open.
Yeah. Granny's baking table.
Oh man,
Granny's baking table. Is that where you got those sweets from?
No, that was Holyoke.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, yeah, Granny's.
They have amazing pastries and stuff. Yeah,
their beignets are always really good. I always love those.
Yeah. I love a beignet.
Yeah.
Oh, so hell yeah.
We're gonna need to make a day trip.
Okay.
A day into evening.
Yeah, we'll
when
do
the kids are gone.
I know what I wanted to. I know what I want to ask you, Stephen. People can obviously buy your clothes on the website. Okay, so people, again, that's hoopcitysupplyco.com. The link will be in the show notes. Can they buy stuff from you in person? Like, will you be doing like periodic like shows or pop-up markets and stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's how Jen and I met. Actually, I was doing. Did we meet at the Christmas one, or was that at the one in the summer? Yeah,
it was the jingle one.
Yeah, so every now and then I do little pop-up events. I might be doing one at there's like a batting cage in Westfield called Springfield, and they're doing a little pop-up event in May. I might bring some of my stuff out there, and so I always try to take advantage of doing those. I'm also doing the Chicopee market this summer. I'll do like one Thursday a month. I'm gonna vend over there. I got in touch with the girls at Dyke Dyes. Yep. And they kind of linked me up with that.
Nice.
You can come to Belchertown.
We have
I can connect you with anybody.
Well, there's like farmers markets.
It's the farmers market. Right? Yeah. There's the cultural council.
Yeah. All right.
Listen, I'm super open-minded.
Sure.
All right. So send them the links, Stomping Jen, the contact info.
Yes.
All right, so people, listen, and I'm assuming, Stephen, you're going to be posting where you'll be in person on your Insta.
Your socials. Yeah.
I want to say Insta, Stomping Jen.
You say socials.
I say Insta.
Well, it's not
That's
just
what the kids
Insta.
say now. They say Insta.
Is that what the kids say?
I think it is what they say.
Or do they say the gram?
The gram. The gram. See, Stephen is younger than us.
So
I'm around 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds all day.
It is the gram. He's right. I was wrong.
The interwebs.
Yeah. Okay. So, get on the gram, get on the Insta, and find Stephen and buy some stuff, please. Okay. Now, Stephen, on to some.
Oh, these are very serious questions.
These are fun questions.
Sounds very serious. I got to put on my serious face.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So when you're not working, and you're not doing Hoop City Supply Company, what do you like to do to get back to Stephen? Like, what do you like to do to just chill out, relax, decompress, that sort of stuff?
I like to go on little day trips with my family and just explore new places, go on hikes, kayak, just, try to do new things. Big on traveling. We're going down to Oaxaca, Mexico in 2 weeks for our honeymoon.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Honeymoon. All right.
Oh, yeah. So just, seeing new things, going places, getting out of the house as much as possible.
Nice.
Cool. You were just in Mexico.
I was in Mexico.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Where was that? Tulum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That place is supposed to be pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. It was a trip. It was a trip and a half. We didn't quite realize it's like a
party town.
It's a party town.
Oh yeah.
And I went with 3 other mid 40-year-old women. We were invisible in party town. Let's just put it that way.
It's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
fun.
We're
going to Oaxaca, which is down in like the kind of the southern part of Mexico.
Yeah.
We're not doing the resort thing. Just got like an Airbnb on the beach and
nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
There's only one place in Mexico I want to go.
San Guataneo.
Is that the thing from
Shawshank? Yes. Do you know, Stomping Jen and Stephen? They say the Pacific has no memory.
Oh my god!
All right, sorry. I'm going to start quoting the Shawshank. Okay.
And there was my best friend.
Good impression. Okay. Our last question for you. Some people are tripped up by this question. Some people have an answer right away. Some people don't answer it, but I will always ask it, Stomping Jen.
That's the question.
What have you experienced that you cannot explain? This could literally be anything.
What have I experienced that I cannot explain?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's okay to sit with it for a moment.
Yeah, give me a second. This is definitely one I'm one of the stumblers. I'm not one of the the quick draws with this one.
I can offer prompts. It could be paranormal.
Honestly, I don't have anything. There's too many things I can't explain.
All right. Well, Stephen, as I said, that's totally fine. Often people don't have an answer to that question.
That's right.
And we're not going to shame you for that here on the Soft Serve Podcast.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Sure. No problem. Stephen Ruff.
Yes, sir.
This was not rough.
This was not. Look at you.
Mm-hmm. Man.
You are on fire tonight.
I'm sure you got that joke before.
Oh, never.
Stephen Ruff from Hoop City Supply Company from Springfield, Massachusetts. I want to thank you.
Thank you guys.
This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking to you, learning about what you're doing, hearing about your perspective on Springfield and your experiences getting Hoop City Supply Company started. So thank you for coming on here and sharing.
No, thank you. It was I was nervous, but you guys put me at ease right from the get-go. So I appreciate it.
Thanks. And listeners.
Yes.
Now we need to say some things. Now, you don't want me getting upset. We talked about this earlier, so I need you to, if you're hearing this for the first time, you're going to subscribe to our podcast through your favorite podcasting app or platform. So you're going to do that. You're going to download our episodes. I need those downloads. I need them.
Download.
If I see a low number, I will get very upset. We don't want that.
No, we don't want to quit the show.
No. Okay, so you can also check out our website.
That's right. We have a website.
softservepodcast.com.
That's right.
Okay. And if you want to come on here and talk to us, you can fill out our contact form.
Yes.
It's on the contact page, Stomping Jen.
And maybe one day we'll have to get Stephen's advice. We'll get some swag up on our website.
Oh, never.
We only have the designs that we paid for.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually we got to do something with it.
Yeah, right. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, but in the meantime,
we do have the option to add a store.
That's right.
So we could do that. But in the meantime, do all that other stuff, right? And tell a friend if you like what you're hearing here.
That's right.
Right? What else? Anything else?
Spread the word.
Spread the word. Yeah, share.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right. Enough blah, blah, blah. So, Stephen, you want to say goodbye to folks?
Hey, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening. To those of you who did. I look forward to meeting you all in the future.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. Stomping Jen, it's your turn.
Bye now.
All right. And from me, you know what I like to say. It's what?
Bye now.
Bye now.
This world of ours, ever growing smaller, must avoid becoming a community of dreadful fear and hate. Those who have freedom will understand also its heavy responsibility. That all who are insensitive to the needs of others will learn charity, and that the sources, scourges of poverty, disease, and ignorance will be made disappear from the earth. And that in the goodness of time, all peoples will come to live together in a peace guaranteed by the binding force of mutual respect and love. I shall never cease to do what little I can to help the world advance along that road.